Rob, I guess.
Rob.
What's your name?
Rob. Mark Fitzgerald is my name.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Rob, the host of. Are you calling it Deflating Atheism or Deflateism?
Deflating atheism, although just kind of deflateism is the portmanteau.
It's like a coin. You've coined a phrase. It's amazing.
You know, a little bit of thought went into that. You know, I tossed around like some unimaginative ones, like fighting atheism. Although, if you had something like fighting atheism, it could be read two ways.
Oh, of course, I love it.
You are fighting atheism, or atheism.
Deflating atheism is a perfect term, dude. It's amazing.
Yes. Because it can be both a present participle verb and a gerund, you know. So it's both deflating and you are deflating. Whereas if it was fighting atheism, then it could be atheism that's fighting. So
look, given the fact that this comment, you know, we will get comments on this video, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care what people think, quite frankly. I just want to say you are like a new hero to me, quite frankly. I love what you're doing. It's amazing.
Well, really starved for heroes, yeah.
Yeah, I've been in this Milo Yiannopoulos echo chamber for 6 months, and I'm kind of burned out. So yeah,
I've been meaning to do a video about him.
Wow, I had him on the podcast in December.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, he's amazing.
He is good. By the way, I'm getting a little feedback here. I could put on some cans if you want.
Oh, that's okay. No, we should be fine.
Okay. Yes, he is one of the guys. I've seen some of his videos, and I like that he's kind of bringing kind of like an outsider perspective to Christian apologetics. But the thing I find is that guys who do politics and do religion kind of don't do the religion part as well as they should.
Well, he's not. I mean, I spoke to him about religion, obviously, on the podcast, but I mean, he describes himself obviously as a gay Catholic theologian. I mean, I keep saying theologian, a gay Catholic conservative. You know, he doesn't talk about it a lot. It's interesting because as he's emerging onto the scene, he's inevitably getting quizzed on it more and more. You know. And his responses are really fascinating, quite frankly. Yeah. There's a bit of a rant. It's actually on my YouTube channel. There's the group called the Drunken Peasants. You know, the Amazing Atheists, blah, blah, blah. TJ.
Actually, gave me a shout out with the Def video, but never mind.
The what, sorry?
I think I got a little traffic from them on my Def video, but that's...
Oh. Yeah. So, I did, like, there was a kind of a 2-hour stream or something, and I was recording it as they were streaming it. And he did this little rant. They inevitably got along to the subject of religion, you know. And they just, you know, it was like the internet come to life in this conversation. Like, it was just, I mean, as he says, it was like, you know, Reddit atheists, you know. Yeah. They just turn mean. They just turn horrible. And, I mean, I literally, to make a point.
But the drunken peasants aren't all atheists.
Are they not?
I believe there's one guy at least who is not.
Well, they were talking about somebody they were trying to get on the line who was a Christian. I don't know. Anyway, I literally found a video of this guy who was essentially like popping veins out of his neck, yelling, you know, red in the face, going, "I don't need religion to be kind." And I'm going, okay. Yeah. Like, all right. I'm keen to ask you, like, I mean, you've just, like, how long have you been doing the channel for? Because I thought it was only like a month, but it's clearly longer.
Yeah. Well, I consider, like, every video I've done so far as part of a test run. So in that sense, in my mind, I've done no videos so far.
That's very postmodern.
Yes. Yes, it's just a conceptual art piece. Yeah.
I love it. There are no videos. It's like the Matrix. There is no spoon.
I know. But, yeah, I've done it since December, and it's one of those things where I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't start it years sooner, you know? I think a lot of people...
Can I redeem this here? Can I redeem you in the name of Jesus? No, I think, quite honestly, dude, I think the timing is perfect. I really do. I think that a community of people of faith is emerging, and it's going to be profound. I mean, Milo Yiannopoulos, to make a very strong point, he said to me in December, he was talking about the social justice warrior, feminism stuff, and he goes, there is going to be a response to this that is uniquely Christian. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and it's fascinating, and it seems to be proving itself to be very true. And I sort of wonder. Obviously, I've only just come across a couple of videos. What was the sort of motivation to begin with?
Well, I had been doing some little film projects in my town, some local film projects, and just helping out with the production end. And then I had a falling out with someone, and so at the same time, I was like spending like an hour a day debating in like comment sections, debating, doing Christian apologetics. And of course, when you put something in a comment section, that's the most volatile place to put it. It just washes away, it's forgotten about.
Yeah.
So why don't I put the two together? Why don't I kind of feel like, do you know like that Simpsons episode where Krusty the Clown is in the broadcast tower and he has to make his own show and he has the battery and the scorpion and he's holding them up to the camera. I kind of feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of making my own show with whatever cheap things I have on hand. So yeah, that was just one thing. It's like, oh well, I can make videos. And I can combine it with my kind of interest, I guess you could call it that, in Christian apologetics. Mm-hmm. And so it was such a natural confluence of interests. I'm really kicking myself. I hadn't thought of it, 18 months earlier,
Well, again, I still maintain the point. I really do maintain the point that the timing is right.
May I ask you a question?
You can ask me any question you like.
I browsed your channel. I mean, how long have you been posting on YouTube, and how long have you kind of been aware of the culture of YouTube?
Right. I primarily, so I host on Podbean, so I've got a podcast on iTunes. It's been going since July last year. So we were around 43,000 hits on that. So I sort of just started dumping all the episodes onto YouTube about 4 months ago. And it's sort of interesting because it opened up, because YouTube's more casual, like I started doing these little short rants and, I don't consider myself a YouTuber at all, quite frankly. I just don't. I don't know. I don't do what I do for clicks. I'm just genuinely interested in the conversation. So, yeah.
That's good. Because when you say it's new, I mean, I think there have been some really titanic Christian channels in the past that have either they're still around and I've just kind of lost touch with them, or they've gone away. Like Cartesian Theist was a Christian YouTuber who was terrific. He had these brilliant, wonderfully thought out videos, and then something happened with another YouTube user. I'm not going to name his name, but then he was basically blackmailed into ditching his channel. And
sounds
then
like Christianity to me.
No, well, this was not a Christian who blackmailed.
Okay.
It's one of those things. It's like, saying Bloody Mary in the mirror and then an apparition appears. It happens like that. But and then like David Withen, I think he might still have his channel, David Withen. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely have been good Christian YouTube channels, and still are, but of course they don't get the clicks. They never did, and in some cases, horrible things happen. I know, of course, there have been female Christian YouTubers who have had horribly sexually explicit comments posted, and they're basically chased off.
Yeah,
and so it's great.
It sort of almost drives you to feminism,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm joking for the record. Terrified to. No.
I mean, I don't. Well, that's getting.
No. Say whatever you like. Go free speech, man. Free speech.
No. I'm just saying. I mean, that there are like a whole lot of topics where I might have opinions on, but I'm not going to.
Oh no, please! By all means, this has to be interesting. It just must.
Yeah, it doesn't tie in an essential way to what I'm saying.
Are you trying to say that you're a feminist?
What's that?
Are you trying to say that you're a feminist?
No. Right.
Oh, it's interesting. It's interesting space.
But I mean, I'm sorry.
No.
I kind of stammered there, but
That's okay. That's
because I'm not a feminist. but at the same time, I don't want to stand up and be the anti-feminist
Oh,
guy.
no. I literally, to make a point, I did this. I've been doing these like guided meditation videos, like just as a piss take. I did a sort of a guided meditation telling people to vote for Bernie Sanders. And then I did one called More Retarded Than a Feminist. And I was basically telling all these anti-feminists they're actually causing more harm than good, you know?
Yeah.
And then I did one called Calm Down, a guided meditation for atheists.
So it's like guided meditation / hypnosis.
Oh, yeah. It's got one of those like spinning wheels and stuff. And I was like, you can emerge from your thin skin to become a beautiful butterfly. I've literally just had a glorious week winding up thin-skinned atheists.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally made a video called How to Wind Up an Atheist, and somebody got wound up. I think I'm a little bit evil. I might burn in hell for it, but it's hilarious.
Yeah. That's my problem a lot of times. I mean, I have my own kind of base instincts that have nothing to do with my convictions as a Christian, but I can be a kind of mean person.
Oh, you know what?
I'm kind of good at insulting people, and so, you know.
Here's where I think you need to go stronger, quite frankly, because I see this to a guy, Peter Rollins. I'm not sure. He's an Irish theologian, philosopher. You know, he's actually spoken to Lawrence Krauss and blah, 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 you know. I said this to him on a podcast. I said, you sort of only mock the ones you love, right? Like, I wouldn't want to be the kind of person like an atheist seems to be, who is somebody who takes themselves entirely too seriously. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think there's a service we're doing here.
Well, that's certainly the high-minded way of looking at it.
Or a way to justify it, but who knows? I honestly have zero. I have zero guilt about it, quite honestly, and I don't think you should either, quite frankly. Like,
because I'm just gonna say, as far as like, you know, Christian agape love, it's so much easier for me to feel that towards like the heroin addict who understands that they're a broken person and realizes that that they're a wounded, you know, person, that they need help.
Exactly.
It is so much easier for me to feel agape love for a person in that position than these little, you know, cocksure pieces of shit who are
I love it. Of course, absolutely, and it's so true. And these conversations are so needed. I mean, it's about fucking time the atheists get eviscerated, quite frankly, because as Milo Yiannopoulos says, they're dangerously smug. Like, it is ridiculous. I mean, he goes, they're a bunch of thin-skinned, hypocritical weirdos.
Oh, this was Rollins.
No, I wish it was. No, that was Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh, okay.
I would love Peter Rollins just to snap and start talking like that. He goes and is like, are you familiar with Peter Rollins?
No, I'm really not.
Oh, okay, no worries. What sort of theological circles do you find yourself in, if I can ask that question?
See, I mean that's a question I could get really nervous about, because you could expose the limits of my knowledge really easily.
Driscoll. No. You're right. No, that's fine. We can do a corporate dodge on that answer.
Well, no, I mean, what do you mean?
I don't know. I was just sort of wondering what your theological leanings are, I guess.
I'm actually, I would probably be kind of a lot more liberal than people would give me credit, when people would probably take me as. I mean, I am a Catholic, but there are some Catholic doctrines, like, you know, the Immaculate Conception and the necessity of confession. I'm not going to say I disagree with them, but I just don't know enough to embrace them.
Yeah.
Call myself a Christian.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I sort of wonder, when you sort of decided to start the channel, I mean, did you just have a bad day and like snap, or like what happened?
No, like I said, I mean, it was a logical result of everything I had been doing, and so I was just kind of kicking myself I didn't do it earlier, you know.
Yeah. Well, as I keep saying, I think you should stop kicking yourself because I think the timing is right.
Yeah.
I will keep coming back to that point to make you feel better.
Thank you. I'm like an atheist. I need constant reassurance.
I did like the part in that response video where you looked up at yourself in the thumbnail and you did this kind of like hand on your heart sort of thing, like, that's me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to be lying to deny that the whole like vanity thing comes in.
I think, it's funny. I think these thin-skinned atheists think that we're just all retarded. Like, they think that we're mentally challenged. And you just go... I mean, I talked to this girl, Sophie, on the podcast. She's from the UK. She's amazing. She's like a unicorn atheist, is what I call her. She's funny. But she goes... It's ridiculous. She goes, atheism has become like the new feminism. It's like a victim narrative, Like, yeah. And she goes... It's ridiculous. She goes, you can be as thick as shit and call yourself an atheist and people bow down to you,
Exactly.
I was like, atheism is not a synonym for intelligence.
And it completely devalues the whole idea of being an intellectual, that these people call themselves intellectuals. Like, all you have to do is parrot the right phrases. You have to say... fairy tales, you have to say invisible
magic sky daddy,
and as long as you can muster the intellectual horsepower to repeat those phrases,
I sort of think you're
ushered into this intellectual elite.
Why don't we? I'm just thinking on this podcast, like as a public service to these atheists, why don't we come up with some better terms for them? Like, I mean, just
there are a whole bunch of minor variations, but
it's. I mean, what gets me is the term. They talk about the flying spaghetti monster.
Yes.
I'm just like, is it as creative as your brain gets? Like, you literally were eating spaghetti and just thought about that. Like, do you know what I mean?
But, and that's the thing. Is that they think they're tweaking you, but there's a really kind of tragic substance.
It's awkward.
It's like I'm sorry. I'm going to go on PC here. It's like a teacher of a special ed class. This is what using your imagination is like. We could be wacky. Here's us
like
pretending.
An episode of Barney the dinosaur.
it just seems kind of tragic to me. And then they think, I'm putting the screws to these Christians,
Yeah.
It just makes me a little sad, honestly.
I literally tweeted the other day, I was like, an atheist making a joke is awkward for everybody involved.
Yes.
It just is like, I mean, you start winding them up on Twitter. I mean, what was hilarious. Are you into Twitter much or no?
No, I'm not.
Okay. There was a hashtag trending called The Triggering. It was like hashtag The Triggering. And it was a whole bunch of like, anti-social justice warrior, anti-feminist kind of people just winding people up, free speech, saying what you want, blah, blah, blah. And they're all mocking each other, blah, blah. I just like hijacked for about 10 minutes the hashtag and just started winding up atheists. And they actually started getting triggered. I was like, the irony, it's just insane, dude. On a more serious point, I did start actually talking about abortion, which is something no one seems to want to talk about. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that. There was literally a guy, I want to get him on the podcast. His name's Dr. Anthony Levitano, I think. He's literally, he's an OBGYN who's performed over 1,200 abortions, right? He literally performed the last abortion ever performed by himself, and he looked down and he was like, holy shit, I've just murdered a child.
Yes.
Do you know about this guy?
No, I mean, I've heard a bunch of stories like
this guy is just emerging onto the scene now. He's literally got 3 videos. I did a video and put the links in the description. He's got this video like first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, and he literally explains the details of each abortion process. It's so fucked up, dude. Like, yes. You kind of get to the point where you're like, this is beyond murder. Please, I defy you to make a case otherwise. Yes. Like, the fact that it's even become a reality that we can't discuss is like worse than the Holocaust, It's horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, even Gavin McInnes goes with me on this point. Like, I had him on the podcast last year, you know? It's amazing. But, anywho, let's get back to you. So what's your process of, like, inspiration for these videos? Like, do you sort of hunt them out, or do you have a hit list, or what's the deal?
That's kind of hard to describe. Yeah, just whatever topic kind of floats across my mind, and I try to gather a few kind of ancillary thoughts and put them together. But I do want to get into the habit of replying to videos, and some people have actually responded to me. I need to get back to them. That's going to be my first order of business. But yeah, because it's a lot easier to kind of crank out the videos when you're in a dialogue, you know.
Yeah.
And I have to put my own kind of impulse for completion of kind of handling a topic exhaustively. I kind of have to, put that to the side. Again, and just basically take every impulse I have for perfectionism and just kind of crush it under my feet, because that's basically what doing a YouTube channel is, you know.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. You've got to
worry about perfection.
Yeah. Exactly. It's well, I had Rob Bell on the podcast, which was unreal. He sort of says this thing where he says, every good artist must realize that even the failed pieces are necessary,
Yeah.
And it sort of feels like that's the story of my life, quite frankly, at the moment. I've got so much creativity in my head at the moment. I'm literally working on a music app, and I've got a book project, and I'm just going, what the hell is going on? Like, it's like feast or famine,
Yeah.
It's
excellent.
Yeah, it's quite crazy.
It's like right now I'm working on a flute and electronics piece, which is like something completely different, but I think it's I don't know. I think it's important to keep those two things balanced, because I never wanted to do this necessarily. I have my creative impulses that go into place, and the music I make, that's what I feel is my legitimate output. But I guess this, referring to Christian apologetics on YouTube, is ultimately more consequential. So I kind of have to gear my thinking into that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you feel the same way?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Like I like what you said about perfectionism. Like, you sort of have to put it to one side and you have to be prepared to fail.
Yeah,
and to bring us back to atheism, because we are just railing on atheism. Let's not pretend it's not. Let's not be. Whatever the word is. Anyway, let's not pretend we have higher goals here. The position of atheism is so absurd to me. I mean, I literally did this little rant. I was like, even the word atheism, like, you are literally defining your life by what you are not. Like, it's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And it's got such a cult-like feel to it.
Or when they call themselves free thinkers, when their entire thinking is defined,
anything but free thinkers.
It's defined by a set of conclusions they must under no circumstance ever arrive at. I literally arrive at the conclusion that God exists. No, that's verboten.
Okay, I was literally talking to this guy Lucas. He's I did this belief series with him, and I literally just reflected to him. I was telling him about your channel, funny enough, and I literally basically called him out on this idea. I was like, you atheists are the opposite of open-minded. You have come to all your conclusions before anything. And it's like, it's like coming, like, you sort of nailed it in that response video with the 80s rap, thing.
Yeah.
Where you sort of said, you've come to all your conclusions before opening your mouth. Like, it's absurd. It's quite frankly offensive to intellectual humility.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Like, and I've been noticing on these kind of, taking the piss out of atheist videos I've been doing, the comments haven't been trying to eviscerate my points at all. They're just going, you're fat, you're deluded, you're a theist. And I'm going, yep.
Yes, George. Yeah.
Guilty. I love it, dude. I love it. I'm invincible in these discussions because I couldn't give a shit. Yeah. I don't care. I see this. I was like, dear atheists, I don't care if you're right. You're boring.
and I mean, maybe you kind of agree with me. I'm pretty sure you will. It's kind of unfathomable how they haven't bored themselves.
I know. I literally said no. I literally said this. I was like, "How have you not connected a fork with your eye at this point?" Like, are you kidding me? I've said this, Rob. I've literally said it. I was like, if atheists woke up in a world tomorrow without religion, they'd probably blow their fucking brains out, because they wouldn't have anything to rail against, and it would bore them to tears.
Well, it's like I always try to imagine, what does this atheist paradise look like? You know, is it just us?
First of all, you grow up in a world that is
stabbing our bellies and laughing about, invisible sky fairies. Do we just do that for eternity? Does that just go forever into the future?
Oh, it's nauseating. It's like, I mean, I don't know, Milo Yiannopoulos, this is highly offensive. He said he read a study, and I actually read the study myself. There's actually a study that was done online that showed a high correlation between atheism and autism.
Oh, no. I mean that is science. Yeah. That does not surprise me at all. No. And I mean, let's back away from this, because it could get into something mean-spirited.
Oh, no. You need to. This is why you're talking to me, Rob. This is why you need to connect with me. I was like, I need to talk to this guy.
You're a crypto atheist who's trying to get blackmail material out of me, is what you're doing.
I'm a what? A crypto atheist? What does that mean?
Nothing. I'm saying.
Oh, like you're accusing me of being an atheist?
Material out of me.
Are you suggesting I'm an atheist? No, I want to know that, because that's the most offensive thing you could ever say to me.
No, I was saying you're pretending not to be an atheist so you could get the most cruel things out of me. And
yeah. So you're essentially
holding against me.
No. It's whoa. You're actually accusing me of being an atheist.
I'm joking, bro.
No, this is serious. This is dead serious. It's like, no, I was just trying to clarify, because I was like, that is the worst thing you could, like, you could literally offend me by saying that.
I'm sorry. We've established the boundaries. What's not what not to joke about.
So you seem to be it's interesting to me. You seem to be genuinely a little bit reserved here.
What's that?
Like you seem to be a little bit reserved about railing too, extremely on atheism.
No, it's not atheism. It's just some various ancillary topics. I do feel a little reserved about some topics, but yeah.
You're making me feel guilty, dude.
I'm sorry. It was a joke, by the way.
I know. So I was trying to be funny. Maybe I've.
Look. I made the joke about the class of special children. So I'm in the glass house here.
That's true.
Now, children, our exercise today is using your imagination. Oh, I have an invisible dragon in my garage. Wow, that's wacky.
Let's you know what would be fun? Let's wind this down. Let me just Google some atheist memes.
Yeah,
this would be fun, wouldn't it?
I always do that.
I'm literally doing these. I've done 2 episodes so far. I'm doing these story time podcasts where I'm like, once upon a time there was a thin-skinned atheist. Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I make myself laugh.
Here.
The
exact expression "invisible dragon in my garage" gets 1,200 hits.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You don't believe in absolutes, so you. It's like a Willy Wonka meme. So you don't believe in absolutes, so you absolutely don't believe in absolutes.
Yeah, I've seen that, by the way. I saw that.
Oh, I do like all the. Here's what I find genuinely a little bit offensive. Is these? I'm looking at one now. It says "Thank you Jesus," and it's got someone thanking God for a gridiron win or whatever. Blah blah, and then it's got some starving kid. I'm just like. I think that's one of those horrible things a human being could do. Is you're literally using starvation as a tool to make a point. It's such a utilitarian, dehumanizing use of the situation. It's actually a little bit mean.
There are kind of 2 points I want to make on that. First off, I mean, it is such a kind of first world condition to sit back in our easy chairs in our air conditioned rooms and rail about the injustice of a God who would allow such suffering in the world. If you actually go to the blighted areas of the world and talk to the people and talk to the people who are helping them, you will find no evidence of this kind of self-satisfied atheism. It would be completely non-existent in those circumstances.
Oh, for sure. Here's a good one. The best cure for Christianity is reading the Bible.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's
and the other thing, I'm sorry, I just want to say, the other thing about the gridiron win or whatever is that there was a beautiful quote, and people think, oh, because it's a football player, he's a lunkhead or whatever. But that was a beautiful quote from like Eli Manning or something. Say, what do you do when you pray? It's we're not praying to win. We're praying, that no one gets hurt, that everything is for the glory of God. And it was such a beautiful, thoughtful quote. And you have these. So the thing about atheism is that it makes everything so small. It reduces. They're fighting against a very small-minded version of Christianity.
Oh, of course. Well, that's what I've always said. They have a theology. Like, they have a theology. They're railing against a certain idea of God. You have to have an interpretation. To rail against generically the idea of any deity is absurd. It just doesn't happen. I just found this. This is from Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy. He says, I, for one, would like to see some proof that there is a God. And if you say a baby's smile, I'm going to kick you right in the stomach. There's one here. This is quite interesting. Carl Sagan says, you can't convince a believer of anything, for their belief is not based on evidence. It's based on a deep-seated need to believe. Which I think is absolute horseshit. Like, so this girl Sophie I had on my podcast, she kind of nailed this perfectly. She says there are some people who are tortured by their faith, and apparently she'd sort of said that Christopher Hitchens had alluded to the idea that you either have faith or you don't, like it's innate sort of thing. And I can almost go with that, quite frankly. Like, I mean, people say to me, why do I believe? And I'm just like, I don't know how not to believe. Like, what does that look like? I think we're all believers is the point. I think everybody, I mean, even Peter Rollins says this. He goes, getting people to believe is easy. He goes, getting people to doubt, that's the challenge.
It takes a constant application of pressure to kind of drive a secular trend, in my opinion. But there was something else I wanted to say. Jeez. I lost. I'm sorry. What were we talking about before?
Oh, you can say anything you like. It's free speech.
It's free speech. Okay. I was going to say. Oh yes. About we're all just scared. Atheists like to make all these good noises, and of course I'm generalizing. Atheists let's always talk about. Oh well, I never. I always have claims require proof. I demand scientific evidence. If they want to get really fancy, then I'll ask you for peer-reviewed evidence. If they really want to come off as an intellectual or something. But no, they always say, oh, well, I don't say anything you can't provide evidence for. And yet they come out with this bullshit pop psychology that says, oh, you only believe in God because you're afraid of death, you're afraid of the unknown. It's like, okay, prove that. Prove this little dinosaur psychology.
I actually coined a phrase for this. I call it faith-splaining. How feminists talk about mansplaining? It's faith-splaining. Like, they're literally telling you what you believe.
Yes.
It's a straw man, essentially. Like, it's absurd.
There is a name for the fallacy. It's called bulverism. The main thing for me is just completely goes against their own stated worldview that their claims require evidence.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I guess we should wind things down since we've been winding all these atheists up. I can't wait for the comments.
Yeah,
let's just close here. I mean, they can't not say something. They can't not comment. I defy you, thin-skinned atheists, to not comment on this video. Like, but dude, honestly, man, I love what you're doing. I'm so glad. I sort of realized, because you obviously subscribed to my channel, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, if I make a video about him, he'll get an email.
Actually, no, I did not see an email from that. But yeah, I actually did not see the emails from the people who responded to my videos. I'm going to have to be a little more alert about that. But yes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Sweet dude. Well, thanks so much for your time, man. I love what you're doing.
Thank you, thank you. I like what you're doing too.
Yeah, I think we're gonna form a little army here.
Yes, they're gonna be knocking on my door. You know, they're New Zealand, but yeah, they can.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. Cool, man. I'll start recording here.